collapse your time horizon, right? Your goals, the horizon. Why wouldn't you want to cut your time in half? How much money is it going to take you to figure it out in 4 years or figure it out in 4 months? Man, I know I'm going to spend a little bit of money up front so the downstream costs aren't way more expensive, man. And I can get my results now. Because contrary to popular belief, results fucking matter, bro. It's the only thing that matters. I think Vince Lombardi said it best, man. Winning isn't everything, man. It's the only thing.
I told you.
Sorry, I didn't hit it. I said it to the jet.
Let's go, baby.
It's time to jack some steel.
Let's do it.
Gym, baby, PB.
Hey, I could never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand. You pussies can't get booked outside America for nan. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big.
I got in contact with Taylor through Instagram. Saw he was in the French Foreign Legion, and hit him up when he was still out there in France. And we kicked it off immediately, became bros. Had a lot in common. Both on a path for self-development, self-betterment, growing our businesses.
Yeah.
So he was saying he was coming into Texas a few months ago, literally like 4 or 5 months ago, I think, maybe less. And I hit him up, I'm like, you're gonna be in Texas, drop into Oklahoma, and let's shoot a podcast. We shot a YouTube video. I actually ended up meeting him in Dallas because there was a real estate event there. I drove up to Dallas, he was there, and we connected, shot a YouTube video. Has a little over like 65,000 views now. Solid story, amazing dude. Now I told him when I met him, I said, dude, we're looking at moving to California. He's like, when I get back, I'm gonna be going to California. I'm from San Diego, so super small world. But we reached out, connected, like-minded people, growing.
Pay attention to those signs, man. Pay attention to those signs. The only reason we really connected is because he wanted to do the podcast. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll drive to Oklahoma from Texas. And it turns out he was gonna be in Dallas anyway, right? Be willing to put that little extra effort in. You don't know where connections go, and then look at, now we're in San Diego together. I'm learning from him. I got a lot to learn on the business side. The drive down here in the Lamborghini, I get to ask questions from somebody that if I wouldn't step out of my comfort zone before, I would never be around to learn, right? Pay attention, step out of your comfort zone, start asking questions, be willing to learn, and shut the fuck up and listen.
In Japan, I'm the hit maker y'all depend on. Backstage in my city, it was friend zone. You won't ever take no chain off of us. How the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 man zone? This the part with the bite, nigga, what's up? I know my picture on the wall when y'all cook up. Extortion, baby, hope for red, you been shook up. Cause Top told you drop it, give me 50 like some push-ups. Cool, your last one brick, you really not on shit. They make excuses for you cause they hate to see me lit. Pull your contract cause we gotta see the split. The way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip. You better
Man, find somewhere close. That's the first piece. Don't make it difficult. Get a gym close to you. Doesn't have to be fancy. Your first time and you're not really sure. Man, go early in the morning. Go when there's not a lot of people. Start working through it. Then, guess what? Hire somebody that knows. Get somebody that can just show you, give you a baseline blueprint, start getting some momentum, start getting some gains so you can start correctly, right? It's not just consistency. It's correct consistency that wins this game. Elevate your life. First off, gives you that self-confidence from the daily disciplines that are required to build a good physique. Then people are gonna look at you and they're gonna view you differently. If you see somebody walking in who respects themselves, right, with the discipline, how you present yourself, guess what? They're gonna be more prone to respect you. Don't think for 1 second you show up some sloppy bag of shit thinking that people are gonna should respect you. Why? You don't respect yourself. Show respect to yourself by elevating your life, by working hard, through discipline, through taking care of yourself, through eating correctly. It's not rocket science. You gotta know what you're doing to do this shit right.
This is how we do. We make a move and act the fool while we up in the club. This is how we do. Nobody do it like we do it, so show us some love. This is how we do. We make a move and act the fool while we up in the club.
They're scared on the phone. Hey, yeah, Taylor. Yeah, Austin. Okay, all right, yeah, send that over. I'm ready to sign up. And they fucking done. They just ghost you, bro.
Man,
Why?
When the rubber meets the road and it's time to write a check, people get scared. That's what separates the men from the boys. It's betting on yourself. It's investing in yourself. A lot of people who won't write that check for themselves, man, they're pretty much saying, I'm pretty sure I can't do this, so I won't even try.
Absolutely. It's not about me. It's not about him. It's about them. It's about you. Because you don't bet on yourself. You don't believe you can do it. I can lay out everything on how to get into real estate, how to get into fitness, how to get your life right, get on the programs. But if you don't believe that you can actually do it, then there's no way that you're ever gonna fucking succeed. You can't even commit because you know you won't do the work.
The real interesting part is I don't reach out to people. People reach out to me on my website and say, hey man, I need help. My life's in shambles. I really need to get this. I know I need to get my fitness right, my mind right, reset my day. I say, all right, man. I say, well, here's what it takes. They go, oh, well, okay, well, all right, I'll do it. And then goes. If you reach out to somebody, ask for help, and they say, hey, here's what you gotta do, guess what? You probably should do it.
Is that what you've done?
Yeah, that's what I've done, man.
Exactly, same here, exactly.
Changed
When I got
my
the
life.
blueprint, when I learned about real estate, when somebody said this is what you should do, and I knew that they were successful at it, when I started going to the gym and I was like, hey bro, how do I lift? And I would ask the older guys, and the guys that were more jacked than me, I shut the fuck up and I just did what they said. You think I'm gonna come in all smaller or all broke before I was in real estate and tell them, hey, listen up, I saw somebody else online do it this way. Man, shut the fuck up, you haven't done anything.
Collapse your time horizon, right? Your goals, the horizon. Why wouldn't you want to cut your time in half? How much money is it going to take you to figure it out in 4 years or figure it out in 4 months? Man, I know I'm going to spend a little bit of money up front so the downstream costs aren't way more expensive, man. And I can get my results now. Because contrary to popular belief, results fucking matter, bro. It's the only thing that matters. I think Vince Lombardi said it best, man. Winning isn't everything, man. It's the only thing.
Here's what I don't understand. These same people that come to us will invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into college education with no guarantee whatsoever. They'll go get a job that pays little with a guaranteed outcome of making little. They'll invest all of that into a system that is broken, but they won't take advice from somebody that's already done it.
Collapse that time horizon, man. A little bit of money up front so you make a ton on the back end, bro, and look good doing it.
Nobody do it like we do it, so show us some love.
Fresh like, Impala, chrome hydraulics, 808 drums, you don't want none, better run. When beef is on, I pop that trunk. Come get some, pistol grip, pump. Give me 6 inches on them white ones. This red rum, ready, here come Compton, Drake found me in the slums, selling that skunk. One hand on my, I was selling, the Master P was saying, buck past the, it's G on the girls just wanna have fun. Coke and rum, got green on the tongue. I'm banging with my hand up a dress like, I make it come, purple haze in my lungs. Whole gang in the front, case a wanna stun.
I put Lamborghini doors on that Escalade. Low pro solo, look like I'm riding on blades. In 1 year, man, you know I'm so paid. I have a straight chick in the telly going both ways. Touch me, tease me, kiss me, please me. I give it to you just how you like it, girl. You're now rocking with the best. That thing on my hip, Teflon on my chest. They say I'm no good, cause I'm so hood. Rich folks do not want me around. Cause it might pop off, and when it pop off, somebody gon' get laid the f out. They call me new money, say I have no class. I'm from the bottom, I came up too fast. The hell is
Another thing, I heard somebody the other day talking about stacking cash. They have one facet of a business, they just stack cash, and they came from a background where they don't know what to do with the money. It's more money than they ever thought they'd ever make. Stacking money, there's a pro to it, because a lot of people don't have that discipline. So it shows discipline that you have the money to put back. But if you don't have any other facet to put it in, like for me as a business owner, my cash is always moving in my businesses. Most people think that millionaires have millions in the account. If I had millions in my account, then I'm not using that money to make more money. I'm not leveraging that money to gain more ground, to grow more wealth. That money just sits there, it's dead money. Like when I've had property or my own primary residence, I've had equity into it. And when I have that equity is dead money. It's literally just sitting there. What is it? So if I were to die, someone would have to sell that asset to recoup that cash, to use that cash to do something else, right? And so if that money's sitting in an account, that's what the banks have, they want, because they can loan up to 9 to 10% against that money. And if you're not using that money to buy assets, using that money to grow your company, to invest in marketing, to invest in hiring people, processes, procedures, then essentially it's dead money. It's not doing anything. It's not gaining you any more ground. And all you have to do is go continue to collect acorns like a little squirrel. But at the end of the day, you don't have anything. You have no financial knowledge at a certain point.
Except for having a solid emergency fund, though.
Oh, always. I don't ever say like deplete your account, but at the beginning in my life, at the beginning of my business, I did. I was like just constantly like throwing it back, throwing it back, throwing it back. Does that the way for everybody? No, because maybe like you, I handle things under pressure a little better. I like being a little more under pressure because I had to go hunt. Because this is what happened to me. I think I would have been complacent. Subconsciously, I would have been complacent. Because you get to a point. Let's say I had a paid off house in Oklahoma, $500,000 house, nice Tahoe, Denali, paid off. You know, what does that get me? Am I back against the wall? No, I can kind of hang out and I maybe push the business a little bit. But if I go out and I'm trying to do big shit takes big money. And if you start eating and investing and putting into that money, what do you have to do? You have to go fucking make more. And when you have to go make more, it's a totally different fire under your ass than when you don't have to go make more.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? It's for me, it's like and now, you know, I get to a point where things grow and you should have a liquidity set aside, not only for myself, but for my employees, for the responsibilities of my family. But at the beginning, I needed my back against the wall a little bit. I needed that credit card making me sweat. I needed that payroll making me sweat. I needed that payment to make me sweat, because it'd be real easy to make a little bit of scratch and then live a pretty comfortable life. That's where some people get set.
That's a good point.
The other way I see it too is people don't put any savings aside. They don't pay off anything, they don't have anything, and they're spending it all on the weekend. They're spending it on all this stuff, and so they have nothing at the end of it. They're banking on the equity of their house.
On either side.
They're not doing it on either side. That's most people. That's 90% people.
That's most people.
So, but I needed in my past. It's been some of the most stressful times I've ever had in my businesses, but it's also was the best learning lessons, and it taught me how to solve those problems. Like when you have nothing on Monday, and you have to come up with payroll on Friday, and you have $20,000 in credit card debt, and then you got another house that hasn't sold yet, you're gonna get crafty. You're gonna start thinking of things. You're gonna, what can I sell? What moves the needle? What makes money? Who can I talk to? Does the lender do this? What about the loans? What about the terms? You start getting real crafty when you're in a pinch. And you don't ever get crafty if you never get yourself in that kind of situation. But what happens when people quit and they fail is when that pressure we're talking about, that's when it breaks you. Fallout from entrepreneurship. They can't handle the pressure. I saw a funny video, and this is a Donald Trump video, so massive plug to him, but he was like walking down the street one day with his wife. I think it was 900 or 90 million in debt. And he's like, points at the bum and tells his wife, he goes, that guy that has nothing has more net worth than I do. Because he was about to go bankrupt in so many different manners. So what he had to do at that time in order to get himself out of the 90 million in debt is start coming up with different ideas, thinking different, looking at money different, moving different. And that's who the person you become throughout that journey, in my opinion. There's no entrepreneur that's worth millions and millions and millions that has never stretched and gone through that period. It doesn't matter if you're starting a $100,000 business, or you're working through a $100 million business, or you're on a board of directors for Sears that's about to go bankrupt. Like all of these people are dealing with it on a different number, and it could be the same stress losing 50 grand or 5 grand or 10 grand for some people as it is losing 500 or $1 billion for other people. But they're always stretching. Like look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk talks about taking all of his investment from the one company he sold, and he freaking re-throws it back on the table. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what's it matter? I mean, if you have a good family, you have a good life, and you can go out and get an apartment and then get another mediocre house and a mediocre car, what's it matter? You know, as you can feed your kids, you could go get a job. I could go get a job right now. We're smart enough guys, even though we're blasted, we still have enough experience and shit like that to make money. So you're never gonna go broke, but you have to get rid of that broke mindset to get to the next level, and it's not easy.
Going back's scary though.
Going back is scary, but here's the deal, knock on wood, whatever, I've never had to go back, because I come up with solutions to not go back. You will always come up with solutions if you dig deep. It's the people that go back are the ones that are fucking thrown in the towel. It is. I've seen it and I can feel it. And I've seen somebody, a good friend of mine, one of my mentors, he had to go back full time. And he told me this at the beginning, because I was like, aren't you scared of bankruptcy, dude? Like, what if the bank calls these loans? You know, we're so scared of debt. We're groomed to be scared of debt. And he goes, yeah, but I learned a lot. Like, I know what I'm doing. I could do it in half the time. And he said it to me like it was nothing. And I was like,
that's a good point.
That's a totally different mindset. He's like, you know, what if I'm the fastest runner in my town, and I go race in another town, and there's other fast runners. So now I'm against 10 people that are fast runners, and I fall and I don't make that race. Can you still go race another day? Are you still the fastest runner in your town? Do you have that knowledge of being able to be fast? Yeah, it's the fucking same, man. You have it here. Like once you get it and you learn it, it's here, you know? It's just how it is. Like say you didn't make any more money with any kind of programs. You still have so much life experience that somebody's gonna want that information and to share. So you can make it that way. You can consult in a business. There's so many things that come up. So you have to disband that hoarding and holding mentality, because you ever remember that, what is that, Tommy Boy? And he's like, I just want to smother it. And I just want to hold it. I just want to, you know, talking about the scene in The Office? And you just smother that money, honestly, in my opinion, to a certain point. Have cash reserves. But to a certain point, it's lazy. It's not pushing yourself further. It's not like, okay, I need to figure out whatever it is. I need to grow the business. I need to dump some into marketing. I need to hire a EA, an executive assistant. I need to stretch myself this way. I need to do this, you know? It was like, for me, moving here is a stretch. Like, the stretch, it's a wild stretch emotionally. Thinking like, I could fail out there. What else everybody in Oklahoma gonna think of me if I go out to California and I fail? You know? I went from a $5,000 mortgage with $500,000 worth of equity in my home and a nice house that I fully built to $15,000 a month in rent, and keeping the same cars and running the same life. You know, what's that do to me? To either curl up in a ball and cry to her every night about it, or I can fucking go out there and start doing what I said I'm gonna do and fucking follow through with it and expand, grow my brand, grow the real estate, get to work on getting more deals, you know, and that's what it does for me. It pushes me. Pushes me. And if I fucking fall by pushing myself, that's okay, I'll learn. It sucks, because I've wanted to many times. Like, there was a time in 2018 that her and I had 2 spec houses, $2 million spec houses in Oklahoma. That's pretty high class there. That's big. Those 5,000 square foot houses. And we had our own house. And so we had those 2 for sale and our primary for sale. And I was selling off fucking toys, bro. I was selling off my cars. I was selling whatever I could to keep the machine running, to keep the cash going. So I'm making payments on 2 properties. And that was tough. It was a tough time. And I had 2 babies, man. They were one was like 1 and the other was 2. They were 13 months apart. It was the hardest time, and she says it later. Like, we moved here, and she still talks about it. She's like, I didn't know how stressed out she was, but she was really stressed. She handled it well. She's like, I never want to go back to that. And so we won't, because we mentally know what we need to be doing. So, I don't know, we learned through those lessons. And that's when I kind of had that pivotal moment of, like, building is a risk. Building something and hoping somebody will buy it is a risk. But renovating a house, knowing that I could rent it or sell or finance it, now I'm diversifying my risk. I never would have learned or forced to go learn this unless I would have had that much shit on my plate and was that scared.
And you're like, oh,
I was forced to pivot. Forced to pivot. Like, your life's very similar, bro. You probably wouldn't be a free sport legionnaire if you weren't forced to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were pinned into a corner. And you made a decision at that point. And who you became throughout that process when you made that decision is ultimately what got you where you're here today. You talk about you could have killed yourself and been gone. That's the fucking easy way out. Nobody wants to handle the stress. I mean, $100,000 to somebody who has nothing in debt and foreclosure is just as scary as foreclosing on a fucking $100 million operation. It's all in here. It's all the same feeling. If you're feeling it here, it's feeling it there. So I realized I was like, okay, so what are people doing? There's other people out there that are going through worse shit than me. What's worse than that? Well, my wife could have cancer. My fucking kid could have got injured to the point of a fatality. I'd fucking give up every goddamn thing I ever fucking have to fucking keep my kid alive, right? So what the fuck's the matter? That's how I think, man.
No fear.
And I have to dig back into that. And when I do that, it's in those mornings sometimes. And I'm like, man, there would be times when I was driving in the morning and I'd almost be in tears because I'd just be like, you know, those doubts. And knowing what's coming up that week, knowing how much I've got to stretch to get this done, to get this point done, to get these assets consolidated. If we don't get this closed, we're going to have a hard time getting that cash to move because money's always moving inside real estate assets. You know, it's never like all right here and all everybody's paying. It's never like that. No business is perfect.
And everybody's paying.
It's perfect. Everything's great. And it looks like that on social media. It looks like that on camera. But the reality is, no business is perfect. No plan is perfect. And it's never as sexy as it seems. And that's why most people start seeing like how hard it really is. And they're like, you know what? A fucking 9 to 5 sounds pretty damn good because I can just drink beer on Saturday and hang out with my buddy and not talk about anything. But you can do that. That's fine. But just don't fucking bitch about what you don't have.
If the life you want can't be facilitated by what you're doing, you're out of alignment. You're going to be experiencing anxiety, you're going to be experiencing stress, and you're wondering why. Man, well, it's connect the dots. You want something that what you're doing is not going to get. Those 2 things don't match. So that's what I always tell people, man. What do you want? A lot of people, when I ask them, they don't know. They go, well, I don't know. I go, well,
they don't have that clarity.
Get damn clear. How do you know what you need to do or where you need to go if you don't know where you're headed? Right? Yogi Berra said it best, man. If you don't know where you're going, you're gonna end up somewhere else. Also, when you get there, how do you even know what success looks like? How do you know when you're happy if you don't know? That's what that grabbing for straws trying to look, because people aren't even clear of what is their true divine design. What success look like to them, right? It looks like we talked about freedom of movement. Man, some people want a huge brick and mortar business they go to every day. Some people don't want that, right? They want to be mobile, hostile, and agile and have freedom. Well, get that clear because that's going to affect what you do now. That's a very important part, and it takes quiet time, I say in the morning, because you can't be distracted. You got to be able to listen. Your destiny doesn't shout, it whispers. So you got to quiet down the noise and listen.
You nailed it on the head, but sometimes you have to go out and try certain things to see if you like it or not. You have to go down certain roads to learn that this isn't for me, but you have to be careful that you're not always looking for the grass is greener. It's a double-edged sword, right? Like you're jumping around thing to thing. But a fine example is what Taylor just said, and that's when I met you, what was that, like 4 or 5 months ago?
Yeah.
4 or 5 months ago, we talked about freedom of movement.
Yeah.
And I told you, I had a 3,300 square foot brick and mortar office. I had my house, I could walk to my office. My kids went to a private school we could walk to. And I was like, we want something else. Like we want to try something else. I did that. At one time, that was my vision and I crafted it.
Yeah.
And once I reached that target, I was like, do I want this? Or what do I want next? Because I'm hungry for more. I'm hungry for something different. And Alicia and I agreed, my wife and I agreed. When I met you, you were like, freedom of movement is so important to me. And I was joking, I think I asked you, so what do you got to bring back? And you're like, duffel bag.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and it reminded me of being in the military and how easy it is to like pick up whatever small stuff you have. And it also puts into perspective like how much materialistic shit doesn't matter to a certain existence, right? To a certain point. And so what did we do? We started crafting a plan. And now 5-6 months later, I'm sitting here working out at PB at the gym with Taylor. I leased the house. I had the cars, I brought everything out here because it was more important for us to be flexible and have that freedom of movement than it was to have this big office and all these things that we really ultimately decided that that's not the route we wanted to go. And many times in business, it doesn't mean it's a different business in general. It's just a different direction with the business. It's okay. You're going down a path, but sometimes you have to split off that path and make a different decision. You're always adapting throughout that plan. Very similar to anything in the military. No plan goes 100% exactly how you pre-plan it in the fucking test in the room. You know what I'm saying? The pre-combat room. So you have to have plans that move and you adapt to during that period of time. And that's the same with business. It's the same with life.
I always say people ask me about, I always say, man, fuck a plan B. Or people go, well, what if this doesn't work? Well, I'm saying if you go out the wire, you're going on a mission. Bro, that's plan A. You got one mission. There's contingencies along that route. There's contingency plans, but the mission doesn't change. Man, if you can't hit the target, nobody goes, all right, we're gonna go do mission B. It doesn't work that way. You got mission, plan A. All the different contingencies along the way, but they're all still leading to plan A. So, because if you give yourself that plan B, it's that escape route, that the minute you're gonna hit friction, you're gonna slide to the path of least resistance. Careful. The path of least resistance leaves rivers crooked, man. People going all these different directions. Sometimes you gotta power through.